This is the all-new redesigned iPad mini 6th generation that brings a ton of welcome new changes, with the most obvious being a whole makeover, bringing it in line with the same design language as the new iPad Air and iPad Pros. The only one conspicuously missing is the 10.2-inch budget iPad, but that's probably to keep the cost low. The iPad mini hadn't seen an upgrade since March of 2019, so needless to say, I'm more than excited to finally have a refreshed iPad mini with an all-screen design. In today's video, we're going to go over a quick unboxing and basically go over my initial impressions on the device, and then compare it to the previous iPad mini 5th generation in great detail in a later video. I've been getting asked to release this unboxing and review, and well, here it is guys, let's dive right in. All right, well look at what we have here, our all new iPad mini 6th generation, with this awesome image of our device with its matching wallpaper that reads mini in this cursive manuscript. The new iPad mini 6th gen comes in your choice of 4 interesting colors that feature some new colors as well as some classics. You can pick it up in your choice of space gray, pink, starlight, and purple, which is the one we have here, and starts out at a hefty $499 USD for 64 gigabytes of storage. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a small amount of storage in 2021, especially when forking over 5 Benjamins, and your only other option is a 256 gig version that will run you a total of $649 before tax. Going back to our unboxing, we have iPad mini branding on the sides as well as Apple logos at the top and bottom, and you already know they have to be color matched. Nice detail. On the back, we have our typical serial number information as well as our storage capacity and what we will find inside the box. So very easily remove the pull tab to unwrap the plastic, open up the lid, and front and center is our all new 8.3-inch iPad mini shrouded in this frosted plastic. We'll set that off to the side to see what else we find inside. As is customary, we are greeted with our literature packet titled Designed by Apple in California that houses our warranty and information guide, a quick start guide in case this is your first ever iPad purchase to help you get up and running. And at first I gasped and thought no Apple stickers, but JK, here they are. Not color matched, by the way, thought I should mention. We'll also have our 20-watt USB-C adapter, and finally, this generation we have a change, as we no longer have a lightning cable, but instead, in the box, we also get a USB-C to USB-C cable to charge and sync up the iPad. Alrighty, let's head back to the star of the show, remove the plastic protector, and power this sucker on, and voila! Ladies and gentlemen, your all-new 6th generation iPad mini. And since we have a new redesign, let's go over a quick tour of the tablet as it looks extremely sexy with that palmable all-screen liquid retina redesign. Alright, I don't know what it is, but this looks like the perfect conglomeration of portable meets iPad. In other words, which one is it? A big iPhone or a small iPad? It's neither actually, as I believe this all-new iPad will fill a very specific role, and I wouldn't just brush it off as an oversized iPhone. If you happen to own an iPad Pro or an Air, the design language is very similar, albeit with a few exceptions. Front and center is our new and improved gorgeous 8.3 liquid retina display with True Tone. It has a screen resolution of 2266 by 1488 pixels with a pixel density of 326 ppi. The max brightness is in line with most of the other tablets, with the exception of the iPad Pros with a max brightness of 500 nits. The iPad Pros, by the way, have a max brightness of 600 nits. You'll also notice the noticeable absence of our home button, and instead we have our all-screen design that uses the same gestures as your typical iPhone or iPad Pro would. The bezels here are noticeable, but they're not overly large either. I guess it gives just enough room for your thumbs, and I'd imagine if Apple wanted to extend the screen, they'll almost without a doubt charge us more for it, so I'm okay with the bezels. Towards the top, we have our new and improved 12 megapixel ultra wide front camera, which is a big upgrade from the prior 7 megapixel HD camera. And what's cool is that the software allows the camera to take advantage of center stage, that cool new feature that basically tracks your face and pans around a certain angle of articulation on applications like Zoom or FaceTime, just to name a few. On the bottom, we can see our USB-C port and use to charge this bad boy up, and I'm glad even the Mini got the USB-C treatment and pray for a day Apple introduces USB-C onto the iPhone line. Flanking the USB-C port on both sides is our stereo speaker system. On the right hand side, you'll have that pill-shaped indentation that is there so you can magnetically attach your Apple Pencil to, something brand new to the iPad mini line. The previous generation used the first gen Apple Pencil with the idiotic unicorn charging method, so at least you'll look a bit more sane when charging up your second gen Apple Pencil. On the top, we have our power button that also doubles as the Touch ID sensor. Just like on the Air, the Touch ID sensor had to be relocated somewhere and is now featured towards the top. Touch ID has worked flawlessly for me on my iPad Air, so I imagine this won't be any different. We feature more speakers, oddly placed volume up and down buttons. Usually they're situated on the left hand side of iPads, but now are on the top for some reason. If holding the iPad mini in portrait, the left button is for volume down and the right one is for volume up. I imagine this design choice was made for when you hold the device in landscape mode, which honestly is the best way to use the Mini to fully take advantage of the screen real estate, including all the multitasking features. It's a ghost town over on our left hand side, and on the back, right in the center, is our gorgeous Apple logo in that reflective polished aluminum with the iPad branding towards the bottom, and our top left corner is our camera module with the same noticeable bump as is found on the Air and Pro models. On the previous 5th gen Mini, the camera was pretty not gonna lie, and sat flush with the aluminum, but because we have a much better sensor, we now have a camera bump. It's an all-new 12 megapixel wide camera lens with an f1.8 aperture and takes pretty decent pictures, and I feel taking pictures with the Mini will appear more normal versus trying to take selfies with something like the 12.9-inch behemoth. Just looks odd to me whenever I see people taking pictures on such a massive tablet. Oh, and below that is a microphone and our quad LED True Tone flash. Under the hood is where the iPad mini truly shines and makes its predecessor look archaic in comparison. It now features the mighty and powerful A15 Bionic chip with the Neural Engine for very snappy and responsive feedback that adapts via machine learning. This chip should be plenty fast for most people, and actually, over on Geekbench, this iPad mini 6th gen with the A15 Bionic scores roughly 1584 for single core and 4508 for multi-core. Pretty solid results if you ask me. But who is this new iPad mini truly for? Kids? I mean, sure, but it is kind of pricey. Instead, why not get a child a budget iPad? It's cheaper and also has a larger display. So then maybe it's for note takers, i.e. college students and artists who want to utilize the Apple Pencil 2 to their advantage. But no, wait, you also have the new iPad Air 4th gen for $100 more with a much larger display. So then, is this truly just an oversized iPhone? Not quite. You see, you can opt to add cellular to any iPad model, although it will cost you an additional $150. It can sort of act like an oversized iPhone if you really want it to, but I don't think that's too practical. While it is extremely pocketable, the iPad mini shines by now having an edge-to-edge display that looks and feels way more modern. Apple, of course, is following the same design language as the Air and Pros, which is a much boxier design versus the more curved design of the previous iPad mini 5th gen. While I do think a starting capacity at 64 gigabytes for $500 is a bit of a snooze fest, the iPad mini shines in being extremely versatile while on the go, while consuming content, the occasional note-taking, and for playing mobile games. It's the perfect size where it's easily palmable, has great battery life, a much more up-to-date chipset that should hold this bad boy down for many iterations of iPad OS to come, but one huge downside, and I did have to mention it, I'm sorry, no 3.5mm headphone jack. There, I said it. So if that's a deal breaker for you, definitely avoid the new Mini. While I think this is a massive upgrade versus the previous gen, it still may not be right for everyone. Like I mentioned, there's the all-new budget 10.2-inch iPad that just also got a refresh. No worries, review on the way, and the iPad Air 4th gen. The budget iPad is of course larger and chunkier, but comes in at a more attractive price point, whereas the iPad Air only costs $100 more and you get tons of more screen real estate and the smart connector. If you notice during the tour, there is no smart connector on the iPad mini. This is probably due to the fact that the iPad mini, even in landscape mode, is way too small to truly accommodate a full-size keyboard. So if you want to use a software keyboard, it's actually kind of funny, it takes up way more than even half of the display. While While the inclusion and implementation of the newer Apple Pencil 2 is nice, you can also take advantage of the Apple Pencil 2 with more screen real estate, and again, for only $100 more. Guess where? On the air. But I'm not a rapper. Don't worry, I know a lot of you guys will have questions on which iPad you should pick up, and I will be making a late 2021 iPad buyer's guide for you guys. That way you have it handy for the holiday season. So in the end, do I recommend the new Mini 6? Absolutely. I really do think it's just the palmable nature of it that makes it great for small businesses, for presentations, for school. For $500, you get a very versatile and very worthy tablet with a newer and more modern look, decent cameras, great battery life, and tremendous power under the hood that should power you through for most normal tasks. If you've been dying for a Mini specifically for a while now is your best time to buy. But if you think your money can be spent better, like say on the budget iPad, or maybe you have enough money to justify the bump up to the Air, you may want to weigh out your pros and cons. Guys, I want to bring you all as much relevant content as I can, so if you have any video ideas for the new iPads, a buyer's guide, head-to-head comparisons versus previous generations, or maybe versus other models, just let me know down below. This has been a quick unboxing tour and initial impressions on the Mini. I think it's fantastic, and I'm absolutely in love with the size and all-screen design. I will for sure be reviewing the newly refreshed 10.2-inch iPad very soon, as well as my infamous battery drain test. That's right, Volume 4. I'm curious myself to see if the mighty 10.2-inch will finally lose the crown. Definitely look out for more iPad Mini 6 content, and alright everyone, I hope everyone enjoyed, and I'll be catching you all in the next one. Peace.